Hey everybody, welcome to another deep dive into practical English
that
you can actually use.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be looking at road trip English.
Road trip English.
And all the fun things you can say when you're on a road trip.
I love it.
Now, you might be surprised to know
that
the source for this is actually a YouTube video. It's from this really fun beginner English learning podcast.
Okay, yeah.
And I know it's kind of funny to be learning road trip English by watching a video.
Yeah, like how are you going to be on a road trip
while
you're on YouTube?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about this podcast is that they use super authentic phrases.
That's the best way to learn a language.
Absolutely.
Is to get it right from the source.
Exactly.
So, people actually speaking it in context.
So it's not just going to be like, textbook English.
Yeah.
It's going to be like...
Yeah, it's not going to be like, hello, how are you? I am fine. No one talks like that.
Exactly.
And like, hey, what's up? How's it going?
It's like the real deal.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to actually use this stuff.
Yes. Like you belong there.
Exactly.
On the open road.
So one of the first things that came up in the podcast was this whole idea of like getting ready for a road trip.
Yes.
And the first essential that they talked about were...
Snacks. Yes.
Of course.
Road trip snacks are essential.
Yeah. But they had a special word for them.
They did.
What was it?
Munchies.
Munchies.
Yes.
I love that.
It's like not just snacks.
Right. Not your average bag of chips.
It's got to be munchies.
It's got to be munchies.
Yeah.
It's like a whole different...
road trip food.
Yeah.
It's a whole different category.
It's a whole experience.
Yes, it is.
So munchies is like essential vocabulary.
Yeah. It's a must-have.
Must-have on your road trip vocabulary list.
So I'm curious, do you think munchies are like a universal thing?
Well, I think the idea of like special road trip food is definitely universal. I've traveled to different countries and it seems like everyone has their own version of munchies.
Right.
It might not be called munchies, but it's that same idea of like special treats that you get just for the road.
And it's funny because like I was thinking before we started recording about like some of my favorite road trip snacks.
Ooh, what are they?
I'm like a sucker for anything salty.
Okay, yeah.
Like chips, pretzels, all that stuff. And then, of course, you got to have something sweet.
You got to have some sweet to balance it out.
You got to balance it out.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, like, I never really thought of it as, like, a special category.
Yeah, of food.
Yeah, but it is. It is.
It's like
road trip food.
It's got its own aura.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like gas station food almost.
It's like its own food group.
Yeah, totally.
Road trip food group.
Road trip food group.
Love it.
I love it.
So, okay, we've got our munchies.
Yeah.
We're all set.
Yeah.
Now, another phrase that they use in the podcast is fill up the tank.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's
a deeper meaning there.
Yeah.
It's not just about like literally putting gas in your car.
Right.
It's about like being prepared for the journey ahead.
Yeah, I like that. Like filling up your tank.
Yeah.
Not just with gas.
Not just with gas, but with like...
Yeah, with energy.
Yeah. Enthusiasm.
Excitement. Yeah.
Like that feeling of like, I'm ready to go.
Ready to hit the road and take on whatever comes my way.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the car.
No.
It's about you.
Yeah. Like, are you ready for this?
Exactly.
Have you filled up your tank?
Have you filled up your tank?
Yeah.
I love that.
It's a good one.
Okay, so we've got our munchies. We've filled up our tanks.
Yeah.
What else do we need?
Well, I think we're going to need to make some pit stops along the way.
Pit stops.
Pit stops.
Yes.
You can't have a road trip without pit stops.
Of course not.
You got to stretch your legs.
Use the bathroom.
Yeah. Grab a coffee.
Maybe a snack.
Yeah, maybe top off those munchies.
Top off the munchies.
Yes.
Exactly.
Got to keep those energy levels up.
And it's funny because like, we use the term pit stop now for so many things.
Yeah. It's not just for like racing cars anymore.
It's like anytime you need a break.
Like a mental pit stop.
A mental pit stop.
Yeah, just like...
You need to recharge.
Yeah, take a break, regroup.
Exactly.
And then get back on track.
So it's become like this universal symbol.
It's a universal symbol. I love that.
For a break.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
I know. It's like road trip language has infiltrated our everyday lives.
I love it.
I love it.
So true. Okay, so We've got our munchies.
Yes.
We filled up our tanks.
Filled up the tank.
We've taken our pit stop.
Ready to go.
We're ready to go.
Yeah.
But now we need to sound like we know what we're doing.
You gotta sound like a pro.
Exactly.
You gotta sound like you belong on that open road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the podcast had this whole section on
how
to sound fluent and confident.
Yes.
On a road trip.
Yeah, that's key.
And one of the phrases they highlighted was, "So are we all ready to go?"
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And I was thinking about it, and it's so much better.
Yeah.
And just saying are we ready?
Are we ready? It's so boring.
It's so boring.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, it just sounds...
It sounds more natural.
Yeah, it sounds more natural.
More enthusiastic. More like, you're actually excited to hit the road.
Yeah, it's like you're already picturing everyone
you're picturing the open road, the windows down, the music's playing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like that "so" at the beginning.
Yeah, that "so" is key.
It's key.
It just adds that little extra something.
Yeah, it's like,
all right, we've been talking about this.
Yeah.
We've been planning this. Let's just do this thing.
Let's do this. I love it.
It's good.
And it's not just the words.
Right. It's the tone, too.
It's the tone.
It's the energy.
Yeah.
You got to say it with a smile on your face.
Exactly. You got to feel it.
You got to feel it.
Yeah.
You got to be excited about it.
And it's interesting because they talk about how that kind of energy is contagious.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
If you're excited.
Yeah, if you're pumped.
Yeah.
Everyone else is going to get pumped too.
Everyone else is going to get pumped too.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what makes a road trip so fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like that shared energy, that excitement.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another phrase that they mentioned was "it's all set."
It's all set.
And I love this one.
Yeah, it's got a cool, confident vibe to it.
Yes, it's like, I'm relaxed.
So don't worry, I got this.
I got this. Yeah. And I think it's so much better than just saying we're ready.
We're ready.
Or everything's ready.
Everything's ready. It's just
flat.
Yeah, it doesn't have that same reassurance.
That reassurance.
Yeah, that it's all set. We've got this. Don't even trip.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's funny because I was thinking about it. And it's like that feeling when you close the trunk.
Yes.
And you're like,
okay. We got everything.
We're good to go.
Yeah.
It's all set.
It's all set.
I love it. Okay, so we're sounding confident.
We're sounding good.
We're sounding good.
Yeah.
But now we need to make sure that we've actually thought of everything.
Yes. You got to be prepared.
We got to be prepared.
Yeah.
And so the podcast mentioned this phrase.
Oh, yeah.
We've got all our bases covered.
Classic
road
trip phrase.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, if you hear that,
you know you're in good hands.
You're good to go.
Yeah.
And it's not just about
no.
It's
not just about
saying the right stuff.
Yeah, it's about a mindset.
Yeah.
It's about feeling prepared for anything.
I like that.
Like
mentally prepared?
Mentally prepared, yeah.
As well.
Yeah, because you never know what's going to happen on a road trip.
You never know.
You could get a flat tire.
You could get lost.
You could hit traffic. You could run out of munchies.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That's the worst.
The worst.
So I've got all our bases covered.
Yeah. It's like a reassurance.
It's like a mantra.
For the road trip.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So it's about that feeling of we've thought of everything.
We're good.
We're good. Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever the road throws at us.
Whatever the road throws at us.
We got this.
We got this.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
But before we move on,
I want to hear about some of the personal road trip stories.
Ooh, yes.
That they shared in the podcast.
The podcast hosts?
Yeah.
They shared some fun anecdotes.
They did?
Yeah.
So tell me about...
Okay, so one of the hosts talked about these epic family road trips.
Yeah, where did they go?
To northern Canada.
Northern Canada?
Imagine driving for 8 hours straight.
8 hours.
With your whole family.
Oh my God.
Crammed into a car.
That could be.
That could be interesting.
Interesting, depending on your family.
Yeah, it depends on the family dynamics.
But it sounds like...
But it sounds like they had a blast.
They had a blast.
Yeah, they made some great memories.
I was just thinking about some of the road trips I've been on, and even though some of them were long, and maybe a little bit, bumpy at times,
literally and figuratively.
Looking back on them now,
they're good memories.
They're good memories.
Yeah,
they're
the ones that stick with you.
They're the ones that stick with you.
Yeah. So the other host, had a very different kind of road trip story.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was it about?
They talked about going to Las Vegas with their friends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like a classic, like wild road trip to Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah.
What happens in Vegas?
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I guess
that's all we can say about that.
We can't hear about divulge too much information.
Yeah, the details.
Yeah.
But I like how they talked about the contrast between these two.
Between those two types of road trips?
Yeah.
Yeah, like one was like a family adventure and the other one was like
more of a
wild, crazy. Yeah. A party trip.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
Which is awesome.
Because it's like road trips can be
they can be
anything you want them to be.
Yeah, it just depends who you're with and where you're going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not just about
the experience.
Destination.
Yeah.
It's about the
journey.
The journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
And it's kind of like language too, right?
Ooh, how so?
Well, like language can be
different things
depending on the context. Like you can have formal language, informal language, slang. You know, it all depends on who you're talking to and where you are.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
Yeah, so it's like road trips are like a microcosm.
A microcosm of life.
Of life.
Yeah.
And language is like the vehicle.
That takes us there.
That takes us on that journey.
I love it. It's a good one.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
In this first
We've been on quite a road trip already.
We have.
Yeah.
And we've just scratched the surface.
Just getting started.
Of road trip English.
Yeah, there's so much more to explore.
So before we take our next pit stop.
Yeah.
What's like one thing this really stood out to you so far?
I think for me, it's that phrase, we've got all our bases covered.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Why that one?
Well, because it's just like such a powerful reminder to be prepared for anything, you know, whether you're on a road trip or just in life in general.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like that feeling of confidence that you get when you know. Yeah. You thought of everything.
I got this.
Yeah.
I got this.
I got this.
I'm ready.
Clean it up.
Bring it on.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's a good one.
So before we dive into part 2, I want everyone to think about that phrase.
Okay.
We've got all our bases covered. And how can you apply that?
Yeah, how can you apply that?
To your own life.
To your own life, your own journey.
Yes. And we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
After this quick pit stop.
After a quick pit stop.
To explore even more.
Yes.
Road trip English.
More road trip wisdom.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everybody, to our road trip English deep dive.
Back for more.
We're hitting the road again.
Yeah.
With more fun phrases and linguistic insights.
Yes.
So, you know, we were talking in the last part about how much we love road trips.
We love road trips.
And I was thinking about it, and it's like, road trips aren't just about, like,
they're more than just
a physical journey.
Yeah, it's like state of mind almost.
A state of mind.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, like, even when we're not on a road trip, we use road trip language all the time.
All the time.
Like, what are some examples?
Oh, there's so many. Like hitting the road.
Hitting the road.
Taking the scenic route.
Oh, taking the scenic route. I love that one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
What else? Driving someone up the wall.
Okay, that's a little different.
Yeah, that one's not so positive.
Right.
But, you know, still road trip related.
Still road trip related.
Yeah.
So it's like
road trip language.
Road trip imagery is like everywhere.
It's everywhere.
In our language.
Yeah, it's woven into the fabric of our language.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I think it's because there's something about road trips that's like really appealing to us.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Like, what is it about road trips?
I think it's the freedom.
The freedom.
Yeah, like the open road, the sense of
adventure. Like, you can go anywhere.
Anywhere.
Do anything.
Yeah.
It's just you and the road.
I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Endless possibilities.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's exciting. And it's funny because, like, you know, you think about road trips and you think about, like, seeing new places.
Yeah.
Experiencing new things.
New experiences.
But it's also about, like...
It's about the journey.
The journey itself.
Yeah, it's not just about the destination.
Right.
It's about, like, the stops along the way.
The stops along the way.
The unexpected detours.
Detours, yeah.
The people you meet.
Yeah.
The food you eat.
The food you eat.
Yeah, it's all part of the experience.
That's all part of the experience.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes road trips so special.
So special.
So, you know, we were talking about how road trips are kind of like... A metaphor.
A metaphor for life.
Yeah.
But I think language is like a road trip too.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. How so?
Well, because like language is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
Changing. There are new words.
Yeah.
New phrases.
Yeah.
New ways of speaking.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time.
So it's like we're constantly on this journey.
It's like a journey of discovery.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I love that.
It's
like we're all linguistic explorers.
Linguistic explorers.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back to some of those road trip phrases.
Road trip phrases, yes.
That we were talking about.
Okay. Which one do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about.
Okay.
We've got all our bases covered.
We've got all our bases covered.
Such a good one.
Classic.
Yeah. And we were talking about how it's not just about like packing the right stuff.
It's not just about the physical stuff.
Right.
It's about like a mental preparedness. Yeah, it's about like feeling confident.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you can handle anything.
Yeah.
That comes your way.
Yeah, so like how can we apply that to other areas?
Yeah, to other areas of life.
Of our lives.
Like think about it.
Yeah.
What are some bases that you need to cover in your everyday life?
Like for example, at work.
At work, yeah.
Like maybe you have a big presentation.
Oh, yeah. You got to make sure you know your stuff.
Yeah.
You've practiced. Yeah.
You've got your slides ready.
You've
anticipated any questions.
Yeah. That might come up.
Yeah, so it's like...
You've got all your bases covered.
For that presentation.
Yeah, that presentation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like in your personal life.
Yeah, in your personal life.
If you're planning a trip.
A trip
or something.
Yeah, you got to make sure.
Make sure you've got your...
Yeah, you've booked your flights.
Oh, it's booked.
Your accommodation. And
itinerary, all that stuff.
Yeah. So you're not
stressed.
Yeah, you're not like...
Yeah.
Freaking out
at the last minute.
Yeah. So it's like that.
It's the same principle.
Preparedness. And I think
it's a good one.
It's so important.
Yeah.
Because
it just gives you that...
It gives you that peace of mind.
Yeah.
Knowing that like...
Yeah, that you've got
it handled.
We've got it handled.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Yeah.
We've talked about being prepared.
Yeah.
But sometimes things don't go according to plan.
Yeah, that's life.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah, you gotta be able to... Yeah, roll with the punches.
Roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Adapt. Yeah. Be flexible. Yeah, because like on a road trip, you never know. What's gonna happen.
You could hit traffic.
Yeah. You could get a flat tire.
Yeah.
You could take a wrong turn.
Yeah.
And end up somewhere completely different than you planned.
I know. But sometimes
those detours are the best part.
They can be the best part
of the trip. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like, I remember one time.
Oh, yeah.
I was on a road trip with some friends.
And we were driving to the beach.
Okay.
And we took a wrong turn.
Oh, no.
And we ended up in this like...
Where'd you end up?
Tiny little town that we had never even heard of.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But it was so charming.
It was.
And we had the best time exploring it.
Sometimes the best things happen by accident.
Yeah. Like we found this amazing little diner that had the best
food
ever.
Yeah.
And we met some
cool
people.
Yeah.
And we never would have...
You never would have found it. Yeah.
If we hadn't taken that wrong turn.
If you hadn't taken that detour.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a good story. Yeah.
And it's like...
It's like a metaphor.
It's a metaphor for life, right?
For life, yeah.
Sometimes...
Yeah. Sometimes you got to get lost.
You got to get lost to find yourself.
Or to find something amazing.
Yeah. I love that.
It's a good one.
And we're back for the final leg.
Yes.
Of our road trip English deep dive.
The home stretch.
It's amazing how much
I know, right?
We can learn from just a few simple phrases.
It's true. Like, it's not just about the words themselves. It's about what they represent.
Exactly.
Like the deeper meaning.
Yeah, like remember how we were talking about filling up your tank?
Oh, yeah.
Not just with gas.
Yeah.
But with like...
With energy, enthusiasm.
That excitement.
Yeah.
That excitement, yeah. Like that's such a simple phrase.
Yeah.
But it really captures...
It does.
Like the essence of like being prepared.
That feeling of being ready for anything. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's like the pit stop.
Ah, yes, the pit stop.
Which we all know and love.
essential.
It's essential. But it's also it's like a metaphor.
A metaphor, yeah.
For those moments in life.
Yeah, when you need to take a break.
Take a break.
Regroup, reassess, and get back on track.
I love that.
It's a good one.
So it's like these phrases.
Yeah.
They're not just about road trips.
No, they're about life.
They're about life.
Yeah.
They're about like...
how we approach challenges. How we stay motivated.
Yeah.
How we connect with others.
How we find joy in the journey.
I love that.
Yeah.
And speaking of connecting with others.
Yes.
One of my favorite parts
Me too.
of the podcast was when they shared their own personal...
Their personal anecdotes.
Their personal anecdotes.
And it's chili sapscoats.
Yes.
It just added such a personal touch.
It made it more real, more relatable.
More relatable. Yeah. So, like, remember the story about the family trips?
Oh, yeah, to Northern Canada.
To Northern Canada?
8 hours in the car.
8 hours.
With the whole family.
I can't even imagine.
It's a long time.
It's a long time to be in a car.
Yeah, especially with family.
With family.
Yeah.
But it sounds like...
It sounds like they really cherished
memories. Yeah. And it's like... Even though it might not have been.
Yeah, it might not have been all sunshine and rainbows.
All sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure there were moments.
Oh, I'm sure there were arguments.
Yeah.
You know, sibling rivalry.
Backseat battles. But it's like...
But looking back.
Looking back on it now.
Yeah.
Those are the memories.
Those are the memories that stick with you.
Yeah.
The ones that shape you.
And it's like... Those shared experiences.
Yeah.
They
bond you together. Yeah.
And then there was that other story.
Oh, yes.
About...
The Vegas trip. With friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very different vibe. A little more wild and crazy.
Yeah. But still...
Still a road trip. Still an adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, those kinds of memories, too.
Yeah.
They stay with you.
Are a part of your story.
Yeah. Like, you're telling stories years later about that one time.
In Vegas. And it's like...
Everyone's laughing.
And it's just like... Good times. Yeah.
And it's funny because, you know... We often think of road trips as like these big, epic...
Grand
adventures.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't. It could be just a simple drive to a new park. Yeah.
Or a scenic overlook. Or even just like...
Or just like exploring a new part.
A new part of your town.
It's like...
It's about...
It's about that sense of...
That sense of discovery.
Discovery and exploration. So it's like we're all
on a road trip. In a way.
Yeah. Whether we're literally...
Yeah, whether we're behind the wheel. Or just navigating life.
Yeah. I love that.
It's a good one.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive...
This epic journey.
Into road trip English.
Yeah.
What are some things...
What are some key takeaways?
That you want our listeners to remember?
I think the most important thing is that language is powerful.
Yeah.
It can connect us. It can inspire us. It can help us express ourselves.
Yeah.
Express ourselves.
And I think road trip language in particular really captures that sense of adventure, freedom, the possibility.
That comes with hitting the open road.
I love that. Yeah. And I think learning a new language is kind of like...
It's like a road trip itself.
A road trip in itself.
Yeah.
It's full of
twists and turns. Unexpected detours. New discoveries.
So as you continue on your language learning journey, I hope you'll embrace that sense of adventure.
Embrace the adventure.
And keep exploring.
The open road.
Yeah, the open road of language.
Is waiting for you.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the end of our road trip English deep dive.
It's been a blast.
It has been a blast. Yeah. I've learned so much.
Me too. I hope you have too.
I hope so.
And until next time.
Yeah.
Happy travels.
Happy travels.
And keep those linguistic engines running.
Keep those engines running.